Well, that was a story in Spain, but 2020 has been a brutal year for businesses worldwide. The virus pandemic has left many barely able to survive, let alone grow and invest. As the year draws to an end, we take a look at the challenges businesses have been facing in this unprecedented year.
Simon Freakley is one of the world's leading figures in business crisis management. He provides some of the biggest companies with advice and guidance on how to stay alive and even thrive in today's world. I asked him how he'll remember 2020.
Well, of course, Juliet, the world was being profoundly disrupted industry by industry before anybody had heard of COVID-19. And then the mother of all disruptions came along. So it wasn't as if we weren't in a very disrupted world already. And in fact, while we'd all for years looked at what's happening in the economic cycle, the new economic reality is it's cycles of disruption that are really driving business opportunity and threat. COVID-19 has been the mother of all disruptions, so it's been a heck of a year for everybody.
Let's think about the companies who've managed to succeed, to thrive as well as survive during the pandemic. Do they have a particular characteristic? Are they big with a contingency fund? Are they small so that they're nimble? What is it that gives them that skill set to survive?
Single most important thing, Juliet, is leadership. Leadership in terms of having an agile strategy that could be adapted during this profound disruption, but also to be able to evolve that strategy quickly, doing it nearly right, but doing it now, and making sure the strategy remains relevant. And so those businesses that have survived, and of course a number of them have thrived, have been those people that have been agile and given strong leadership, looking after the colleagues and looking after the customer right at the centre of their agenda.
In terms of looking to the future, what's that checklist that businesses need to have to move forward and survive a challenge like this one?
Right, well, of course, the fact that we have a vaccine on the horizon is promising, but of course a vaccine for human beings is not a vaccine for business. And so everybody, every business leader going into 2021 has to be absolutely clear on what the strategy is to not just survive, but grow and develop during 2021. Make sure that strategy is clearly articulated to colleagues, customers, and broader stakeholders, and then be absolutely rigorous in the execution of that strategy, because 2021 is going to be as demanding on business as 2020 for some of the same and some different reasons.
You talk about leadership, but what about partnership and collaboration? Because COVID-19 has demonstrated the importance, hasn't it, of companies and countries working together. Are we going to see more of that kind of multilateralism going forward?
It's a great point, Juliet, because of course one of the ways that businesses have pivoted through the pandemic and other disruptions is to partner with each other, partly because they can make greater progress in partnerships, but also because the capital investment of certain things like electric vehicles or autonomous driving, the 5G network rollout is so huge that companies on their own simply can't afford that investment. So I think the way that corporates have partnered together to meet some of these biggest challenges is indeed a lesson for governments. In the US, for instance, if only both sides of Congress could learn about the spirit of partnership, so much more could be achieved, certainly in 2021, that's on our doorstep. But partnership is critical, and of course, to think about business in a different way post the disruption of the pandemic. Think of supply chains, for instance. Lean manufacturing, just-in-time production has been very much of the essence of a cost-driven strategy for many manufacturers. But of course, when those supply chains break down, the global nature of the chains become a vulnerability. So you'll see regionalized supply chains and local supply chains augmenting global supply chains in the future.